I'm here with the newest, smallest Bluetti. This is the new Elite 10, and I thought I would do it indoors because it's garbage outside again. Look how cute this is. Tiny little box. How many boxes do we have? Little insert. Mystery card. That sounds interesting. Got to read before use. A device. Look at that. Look how cute that is. We'll get back to that. See what else is in here. We've got a car charge cord. We've got a wall cord. We've got some snacks. Stickers. Cool. Manual. And a book. Nice. Let me clear this out and we'll come back to the unit. And we're back. So this is, look how tiny this, look how cute this guy is. This is the Elite 10. Turns on, cute little screen. It's 128 watt hours, 200 watt inverter. Yes, there is an inverter on this. In and outs are on the side here. Look at that. That is so, it is 3.97 pounds. I would say 4 pounds, but that 0.97, you know, that's important. And there's the solar input on the side. It is 12 to 28 volts, 8 amps, 100 watts. So to make 100 watts, that is at 8 amps, that's 13 volts maybe, something like that. So you do have quite a bit of voltage headroom to get that 100 watts very, very easily here. And that is a nice little firm fitting plug there, nice. So you have a 5521 output on the front. You've got a 100 watt Type C. You've got a 15 watt Type C and then two 15 watt Type A's. Let's turn on the, oh, screen timed out. Turn on the inverter, turn on the DC output. Look at that, that is so cute. Let me grab my AC2A here and we can look at them side by side. It's just a little bit of a reach. So here's the AC2A. Look at that, it is nearly half the unit. Top view. Look at that. It is so tiny and so cute. I love it. I'm going to get this thing loaded up in the app and we're going to go from there. So I thought I'd just show everybody what it actually takes to connect one of these units in the app. And yeah, we'll do that right now. So there's the Elite 10. It is powered on. Inside the Bluetti app, I tap on Add Device. Things pop in. I hit Elite 10. Hit OK. Binding successful. Boom, done. And I tap on it up here. And there we are. There's the Elite 10. In the app, hooked to my account. All right, I'm gonna go through this screen separately, but I just wanted to show you that's how easy it is to connect to a new device. So this is the default screen. It looks pretty standard to other devices. The Elite 10 only has Bluetooth. It does not have Wi-Fi. So that would be the first of the Elite series that is only Bluetooth. But in something this small, is Wi-Fi beneficial? I don't know. That's a very good question. You can see I'm currently charging from the grid. So I will first tap on that green grid icon and it shows me what's going on with the grid statistics. I will tap on the PV icon and that does show statistics also. I will tap on the DC output at the bottom left. That does nothing. I will tap on the AC output at the bottom right, and that does show load information. I will tap on the battery icon in the center here, or the battery state of charge number, and that does show battery health, alarm, error, battery statistics in the new style. Down below we can turn DC off and on, AC off and on, very nice. Has estimated charge time to full, and then your PV generation statistics, like the odometer of how much you've made from the sun with this unit. Next I will tap on the gear / nut icon at the top right. This is the config screen. You can share this device like you can with most other Bluettis if you have a friend who has an account and you're out camping with them or whatever. You can use this QR code thing and link accounts together, and that will let them control it. Let's go to charge mode. We have standard, silent, and turbo. So we saw right now it was charging at, I think, 70 watts. At standard mode, let me put it to silent. And what did that do? 50 watts, 51 watts? 50 watts. So silent is 50 watts. What is turbo? 113, 114. So maybe 115 watts for turbo, 120 watts. So we get 50, 75, and 120 it looks like. I'll put that back to standard. It does have powerlifting mode. Let's go into Eco. So it has AC Eco and DC Eco. I typically turn these off. These are features where if you're consuming less than the specified amount of power for less than the specified amount of time, it will turn off that output. And these are configurable to some various things. Looks like you can set the AC from 15 to 30 watts, where it will automatically power down. These settings get people in trouble quite a bit when they're running intermittent loads like a portable refrigerator or even a full-size stand-up refrigerator, obviously from a larger unit than this. LED light. This is a new one. Off, cold, warm, SOS. This unit has a light on it, on the back. I will show you that in a little bit. You have warm. This will make very many people very, very happy. I did not see a button for the light on the front of the unit, so we will investigate that. Screen timeout. Yep, standard settings. Advanced settings. So you can set the AC output to either 50 or 60 hertz. This does have the system switch recovery, where if the unit shuts down on low battery, when power is restored to the unit, either via grid or via solar, once it charges up to a certain level, I think it might be 10%, it will turn that output back on. So that is a nice feature for a extended power outage situation. It does have the grid self-adaptation, and it is the newer style that has all these settings that you can change. I kind of like to leave this turned on. That's just me. DC input source. Looks like you have PV and others. What is the difference? 8 amps maximum current draw. I don't think you're going to overload something by connecting it to your car. So we'll see what that is in the manual. Charge limit setting. This is new. You can limit the maximum that it charges itself up to for I suppose, battery longevity reasons. That is a new feature. DC 5521 port voltage, 12.5 volts. So this is also a very new feature. You can change the output voltage of the 5521 port. Yeah, I guess that could be useful. I don't have any 12-volt devices that require a specific voltage, but nice. And then the standard sort of firmware update screen. It says, I'm up to date. Let me click on next here. Nope, I am not up to date. So let's apply that. I'll fast forward through this and come back when it's done. And we're done. 2 firmwares, 1 button click. That is nice. Now I like to just go back in and make sure that there's nothing new, nothing different. Firmware upgrade, just make sure. Yep, up to date. And also something to be aware of when you do firmware upgrades, sometimes it will reset things. What I've noticed, sometimes it will reset the echo settings to back on, depending on what the firmware is. All right, that's a tour of the Elite 10. Look at this. It's a little bar with a button. If I push it, it's a light. Push it once, it comes on pretty brightly. Push it again, it blinks. SOS. Push it again, it stays on solid, and that is a different color temperature. So it looks like you have sort of an amber, the SOS, and then a solid white, and press and hold and it shuts off. So the EB3A, people love the light. We've got one back. So we're set up for a, as near as I can tell, or hopefully can do, because I've sort of tried this already, full load discharge test. Now I had extreme trouble trying to find a resistive heater that would run with this 200 watt inverter. I have a little 200 watt inverter, 200 watt heater, but it pulls well over 300 watts on startup, and the Elite 10 will cut off everything at 300 watts. 300 watts pass through, 300 watts on the inverter, it shuts down, it's done. So I have just off to the side here a large floor box fan, and we're going to try that. And I did have success with it. So I have my power meter here connected to the output port, and we have grid input over here. And something that may be kind of interesting is that one of the vents is embedded in the handle here, and I was just charging and it is slightly warm there, so I think that is the exhaust. I have here the cord for my box fan, so I will plug that in, rotate this back square. I'm going to make sure the fan is set on low, which is where I had success, and the meter has been reset, so everything should start when I hit the AC button. Now, I am screen recording. I'm going to put that probably over here where it might make sense to see. And let's start this discharge. Click. Beep was the power meter. I hear the fan spinning up, 142 watts. That is its lowest setting. Now, I did have luck turning it up to medium. It went just over 200 watts and then settled down to just below 200 watts. There we go, 192 watts. So we're going to let that run and see what we get for kilowatts. This isn't a kilowatt class device. We're going to come back and see what we get for total watt hours delivered. I will probably recharge it first and present both numbers. We are back from full discharge and full charge, and we have calibrated the battery meter, and it's doing one of the little pulse charge things that I've mentioned these power stations do. And in case you're wondering what my workbench is here, it is it's the B500K. It puts things at a good height for me. So let's review the discharge and charge numbers here. This will be pretty quick and easy, I think. So silent charge rate is 40 watts. It's the first Bluetti power station with a 40 watt charge rate that I've seen. Standard charge is 70 watts. Turbo is 150 watts advertised. It has a solar 100-watt charge input. We're going to do some simulated solar charging here in a bit. It is cruddy outside. I'm going to get 0 from a real solar panel, but we'll come back to that. So 100 to 0 discharge, 100.25 watt hours is what I measured out of it, out of a total nameplate of 128. That is 78.3%. And I want to put a little bit of an asterisk on that. I did discharge it at its full capacity, you know, right near 200 watts. I think it settled in at like 170. So that's not quite so fair to the cells. That's like a 1C discharge rate. So we're going to lose some efficiency there. The standard rating for these cells is at 0.2C, which is a 5-hour discharge. And then I charged it 0 to 100% at the standard charge rate of 70 watts. It consumed 165.4 watt hours out of the 128 nameplate. Is 30% overhead to charging. But on a unit this small, that's not much. That's 30 watt hours extra it consumed to charge. Right. Let me move some things around and I'll be back. So I initially thought that the AC2A here would be a very nice and handy cell phone charger. And let me just keep the screens on. But it is, again, I made this comparison earlier. It is quite a bit larger than the Elite 10. I mean, this thing is just so tiny. Stood up on end. It's almost, I mean, it's a little taller than the AC2A, but, you know, put them this way. It's literally 1/2 the volume of the AC2A. It is super tiny, and it is a full-fledged, you know, power station on its own. It does not have all the UPS modes. It only has standby UPS or offline UPS or whatever you might want to call it. But it is a full power station. It has solar input. It has grid input. It has an AC output. It has 12-volt output, and it has USBs. And I thought maybe a nice comparison to make would be compare it to a cell phone charger that I have. This is obviously a Anker product, a competitive brand. This is also, I guess you could call it a power station on its own right, but it is DC only. So we're just maybe compare some features. This is an older unit. They just came out with a newer version of this that is more full-featured, but it is also a bit larger. So this thing has a solar input. It will take 60 watts of solar input. The Elite 10 will take 100 watts. This will charge from USB at 60 watts, Type-C. It will also output 60 watts of Type-C. This has a 100-watt Type-C and a 15-watt Type-C. But what I would really, really love for them to have done on the Elite 10 is make it Type-C chargeable. Give it like a 100-watt Type-C input. That would be super, super nice for something this small that you might expect to use and tote around as a cell phone charger. This does not have any sort of AC, you know, wall outlet charging. The only ports are on the front, and there is none of this. It does not have a 120 volt input or output. So that is advantage Bluetti. And maybe look at the total size here. If I set them appropriately, they're about, I think they're approximately the same volume. And the Anker does have a light, which is fun. If I can remember the sequence, there you go. It's got a light. It's got like high, low, and SOS. And as mentioned, the Elite 10 has a light, and it is, to camera, pretty blinding. It's got white, amber, and blinky. And that is a fantastic feature. And then to shut it off, you just press and hold. Press and hold. Come on. There we go. So this has been my cell phone charger. I'm going to try using the Elite 10 as my cell phone charger for a while and see how that works out. Now, another feature that we have here is we have this DC 5521 port. And a lot of people aren't familiar with what that is or what you can do for it. You might say, where's the cigarette lighter output? Well, obviously they tried to save volume and space, and cigarette lighter output is quite a large thing to take up both in real estate and internally. And let me present a neat little solution. This is a from Amazon. Got it several years ago. DC 5521 to 12 volt standard power outlet. So you can just pop that right in there. And now you have, you can plug your standard 12 volt accessories in. Say you want more USB ports. You can take a standard little USB doodad, pop it in there. Now I've got more USB ports, and obviously you can get these with a lot more outputs on it. Another super useful feature for this guy is if you have a 12 volt compressor fridge, you could use this in your car. So long trips, etc. You could plug your compressor fridge into this via the outlet, and then plug this via the car charge cord into your 12 volt on your car. And while you're driving, this will charge, this will pass through power, run your fridge. You go into eat dinner somewhere like that, even perhaps, I don't know if it had the capacity, but maybe you stop for an extended period overnight, maybe. This will keep your compressor fridge running, and then when you resume your trip, it will just charge back up from the car. I've used the AC2A in that fashion quite a few times, and it works great. And then to even save space from this setup, there is made, and I've showed this before, a DC 5521 to 12 volt compressor fridge cord available that works fantastically. You just plug it in, and there's really nothing to wiggle loose while you're traveling. So this is a fantastic deal to use. So what I'm going to do now is I've got again another competitor product. This is my Anker power brick, and it is quite the brick. So we're going to test and see if we can get 100 watts out of this, because I know this Anker device will easily pull 100 watts. So let's see if I can get up here where we can see it. 23, 26, 40, 50. Can we see that? Hopefully. 91, 92. It's still climbing. 93. And the output on the Elite 10 is showing 96. Yeah, that's a 100 watt port. And let me try something else. Another thing I like to do is fly my drones. So this is, for one of mine, this is a DJI Neo charger. And I'm going to sit that right here in the nice little handle of the B500 and plug it into my new extra 12 volt outlet, or US Type-C outlet here. And you can see it initializing, and all the lights blinking quickly like that tells me it's fast charging. Interesting. So that is not shown here on the output. I think this DC port might be, oh, there it goes. It's taken off now. It was just initializing. So that output is ramping up. I also have a nice little magnetic phone charger that has its own input-output cord, and I'm going to put that on the 15 watt Type-C. So this is just an example of some things that you can run. Yeah, the Anker is drawing down. It's almost full. It's 93%. It's only pulling 80 watts. So this guy says it's charging at 10 watts from a 15 watt port. It is also almost nearly full. So that is some things you can do with the DC output. We'll be back for solar. And we're reconfigured and we are back. I had to drain the Elite 10 just a bit. And what I have here, since I'm not going to get any decent solar for the near future, I have my DC power supply, adjustable power supply. I currently have it set at 10 volts, so we're going to use that to test the startup voltage of the Elite 10. I have the PV or I'm sorry, not PV, the PV input, but the car charge cord that came with the unit. Something I've been finding interesting recently is the differences in cords that come with the Elite series. Some have all the cords, like this one. Some have almost no cords. And on the back of my power supply here, I have wired up a 12-volt power socket. So that makes this sort of thing super convenient. I can just plug it right in there, and that is rather firm. Okay, there we go. And I also have a circuit breaker. So nothing has happened yet, and we are below the specified startup voltage. The Elite 10 has 12 to 28 volt input, I believe. So I'm going to hit the voltage here and go back to, we'll just jump a whole unit to 11 volts. See if anything happens. Not yet. I will go by decimals now. We'll go 11.2. And I'm listening for a click. Maybe you can hear it when it happens, but that's what I'm listening for. 11.3. There we go. She lit up. Let me move this closer here, see if we can get a good shot of the screen. So at 11.3 watts, or volts, we're pulling 27, 29 watts, 30 watts. Wow, this is definitely car charge compatible. And let's just turn the voltage up. So standard, like car running volts is going to be 13.2, 14.2, somewhere in that range. $70 watts input. Something else I have found, 70 watts. Guess what that means? That means I have this thing still set on standard charge. So I'm going to go into the app. And this is one of the units that the charge rate does impact the solar. So just for fun here, watch this. I will set it to silent charge. Look at that, it drops to 40 watts. 40 watts. So if your power station isn't charging from solar at the rate you want it to, or you think it should given the conditions, check the charge mode. So now I have it set to turbo, and it should charge at the full 100 watt rate if the voltage conditions allow. And we are coming up there, 80 watts, 84 watts. And we're going to turn the voltage up. 13.5. Let's turn it up to car charge. Car alternator voltage, 14.2. Pulling 5 amps. 81 watts. And let's just keep going. Let's so this is good for 28 volts. There's 20 volts. And it may be slowing the charge rate. I may not be seeing the 100 because I'm kind of close to full. But it does charge. Let's see when it kicks out. 26, 27. It's 27.0. 27.9, still taking power, still 80 watts. It's 28. Wow, we are 2 volts over the limit and it's still taking power. Maybe they're being nicer to us with these newer units. Well, there she kicked off at 30.3 indicated. Now let's drop it down and see if it automatically recovers. Let's drop it down to 28 even. Oh, I just heard it click back on. Screen didn't come back on. Screen's timed out. There we go. So over voltage protection and recovery. It works. Nice. And that is a quick run through of the new Bluetti Elite 10. Look how cute this thing is. It's just, it's so tiny. Look at it. It's just a little handle. It's, I mean, pinky finger. You can carry it with your pinky. It's so cute. It's so tiny. I'm kind of sad I didn't get to take it outside and demonstrate it with some of my small solar panels. I have this Bluetti PV60, which is would be a great pairing with this. I've got a couple other small folding panels, but maybe another day. Anyway, the new Elite 10, it's going to be my new cell phone charger. It literally fits in your hand. It fits, it'll fit in my backpack. You could, maybe if you had a parka, you could put it in some big coat pockets, but I'm going to play with it some more. Thanks for watching. I was missing one Elite series in my stack last week, so I recreated it. So here is the Elite 10, Elite 30, Elite 100, Elite 200, and Elite 400. Check that out. That is quite the Bluetti stack.